So children, when we do this topic of revaluation of assets and reassessment of liabilities, you need to understand one thing, that the values in the books that you are seeing is not the real value, right? The value is the value at which you have purchased it and even depreciated it like. So now what you want to do is you want to show it at the real value. So how do you do that? You would be considering over here the feature, that is, you would be seeing how the recording has to be done in terms of the contents that we have over here. There are two things that you need to consider, that is this topic, revaluation of assets and reassessment of liability. Now as I told you earlier, this revaluation of assets and reassessment of liabilities is done in all the three situations. So all these three situations are very important, and they would be definitely asked in the exam as a 8-marker question. So one of them would be, in fact you get a choice in the 8-marker, and there would be revaluation, either the entries would be there or you would be getting a full question of making revaluation, partners, capital account and balance sheet. So these are the three situations. They are also known as situations of reconstitution in case of a firm. So now first is, they ask you opening revaluation account. If the question is telling you that the revised value is to appear in the books or the question is silent, then you will have to open the revaluation account. This will be opened. You will pass all the entries through revaluation. And when the question says the revised value is not to appear in the books, right, then the entry is passed either through the capital account that you use in change in PSR chapter. We discussed that part. And the entry is generally the gaining partner to sacrificing partner. We calculate who is gaining, who is sacrificing and do it, right? And in the other chapters, you'll be studying about one more way of doing it, that is by opening a memorandum revaluation account. Now, another thing you should be knowing, why do we revalue and reassess the liabilities? Now, when you do the revaluation, because to show the assets and liabilities at the correct value, right? You want to show it, then you open a revaluation account and you revalue it. Then no partner is at a disadvantage or advantage due to change in the value of an asset. See what happens. You could see that the book value is different from what the actual value is. So if the actual value is more than the the value that is given in the books, so in that case what happens, the partner who is going to have a lesser share later will be at disadvantage, because he would have got more share of the asset. So what happens, right now we are going to do an adjustment of that. And secondly, to record the unrecorded assets and liabilities, sometimes what happens, the asset has already been written off from the books. Because of this thing, cost minus depreciation, the value has gone down to zero, right? Or it's a very nominal value. So in that case, the asset is still existing, but it is not there. So you want to bring it to their proper value. So this is done. At other times, it doesn't make a difference. When there's nothing happening in the firm, there's no need. But only when there's a situation of reconstitution, you need to do it, right? So because of this, what happens? However, when there is a reconstitution, the firm in a firm takes place. That is because of change in PSR, admission, retirement, and death. The adjustment is required to be done for increase or decrease in the value of assets and liabilities, right? Because whatever is the profit or loss of revaluation, that would be divided in the partners in their old ratio. ठीक है, वो भी जो भी फायदा है या लॉस है, there'll be no hard burns. Now whatever is there is at the real price, and the gain has gone in the old ratio. Now what? Good morning class. Today we would be studying about this topic, that is revaluation of assets and reassessment of liabilities. We had earlier also done some part of it. Now it is just the typical cases, that is of this topic. It is basically involved in all three situations of reconstitution, that is change in profit sharing ratio, admission, retirement and death. And opening a revaluation account. Opening a revaluation account is done when the question is either saying that the revised value is to appear in the books or the question is silent. So you have to actually pass journal entries involving revaluation, right? But if the question says that the revised value is not to appear in the books, entry can be passed through the capital account or through memorandum revaluation account. Through the capital account, what happens? You roughly calculate the revaluation profit or loss. right? By adding and subtracting various things, like profit is going to be put as a positive value, loss as a negative, and then you get the profit if your answer is positive, right? Then the entry would be through partner's capital account, that is gaining partner to sacrificing partner. The gaining partner will be giving something to the sacrificing partner. Or the other way is when you make a memorandum revaluation account, like whatever assets are debited later on are credited also, right? So then what happens, the value of the asset will not change. Similarly, all the liabilities, you first do one part, you debit it, you will credit it later, and the effect is counter affected by the second entry. You'll understand this better when we do it as a practical question. Now coming to why do we have to revalue the assets and liabilities, right? It is to be shown the assets and liabilities at their current or correct value. Why? Because in the books, the value of an asset is always at what? The cost at which you have purchased it minus whatever depreciation is done on it, right? So there in that case, there is no partner is at an advantage or disadvantage due to change in the value of assets or liabilities, right? So wherever there's a situation of reconstitution, you see that the partner should not, the partner who is leaving or who is coming or who is having a reduced share now in the profit should not be at a disadvantage. So to do that, you pass the journal entry for effecting only the revaluation profit. And lastly, to record the unrecorded assets and liabilities at their proper value, so that the books are showing the real value, bringing them close to the real picture. So at that time, you need to do the adjustment of assets and liabilities. Now we'll come to the typical cases of revaluation. The first is when the value of furniture is to be increased by 25,000. Now furniture is what? It's an asset. Now he's telling you the increase. So you need to debit it further by 25,000, then only it will increase by 25. He's also telling you that the book value is how much? 10. So after increasing it by 25 more, new value will become how much? 35,000. So if you see the journal entry to this, the entry would be furniture account debit, right? Furniture account debit to revaluation account. So this is the journal entry for it. So you're going to increase the value by 25,000 here. Now the second case, the value of furniture is to be increased to 25,000. That means he wants the new value what? 25,000. And what is the value in the books? It is 10. So he has to increase the asset, that is furniture, only by 15,000 because it's already there at, and it is saying over increase to. That means the new value has to be 25,000. So the journal entry would be over here, that is furniture account debit by 15 and revaluation account credited by 15, right? Next is the value of furniture is to be brought up to 140% of its value. So the book value of furniture is how much? 10,000. And what do you want to do? You want to bring it to 140%. That means 40% has to be the increase in the value. So how do you do that? See, 100% is already there. So increase it by 40% of this more. That is 4,000, right? So the entry for increase would be of 4,000 and the balance sheet new value is going to be 14,000. So furniture account debit to revaluation account. Now next is this slide. Stock is found undervalued by 5,000. And he's saying that the book value of stock is 20. So that means this 20,000 is actually less by 5,000. So I need to increase the value of stock. So the entry would be, when I have to increase the value of an asset, it has to be debited. So the entry will be stock account debit to revaluation account, right? Because at present it is undervalued. Then stock is found undervalued by 20% and the book value is how much? 20. That means this 20,000 is actually less by 20% of the actual value. So that means this is actually 80% of the value. Or if you want to do it in a easier way, you can make an equation and do it. Like, now here he is saying, let us say the book value is 20%. It is undervalued by 20,000 and it is undervalued by 20%. So let us say the actual value is x. So x minus 20% gives you this much. So now you can make an equation, 4 upon 5x is equal to this much, or x is equal to 25,000. So stock has to be made how much? 25,000. Right? Now if you look at the entry, stock has to be made at 25. Actual value is this and the book value is 20. The difference, that is 5,000, you have to increase the value. So you have to pass this entry, that is stock account debit to revaluation, like in the preceding case. Now next is, he's saying stock is overvalued by 9,000 and the book value is 54,000. That means this 54,000 that has been shown, that is more by how much? 9,000. So the actual value is less 9,000, that makes it 45,000. So in the balance sheet, that will be the new value. And to reduce the value of stock key value, if we have to reduce, we need to what? Credit it. If we debit it, it will increase. So we need to credit it. So the entry for this, if you see, the entry is revaluation account debit to stock account with the difference, because stock is going to be reduced. Next is, he's saying stock is overvalued to the extent of 20%. Now when I say it is overvalued to the extent of 20%, that means it's already 20% more here, right? That means this value is more by the actual value by 20%. So using the same equation of x, we can do it as, like, this book value is overvalued by 20%. So x plus 20% is 54. Or you can say 120% is equal to 54, or x value is working out to 45. That means the actual value should be 45. 54 minus 45, 9,000. So the same entry would be passed, revaluation account debit to stock account, to reduce the value of the stock, right? Now next case, a major part of the stock included in the book at 9,700 has been badly damaged and it is expected to realize 700. So 9,700, right? It is going to give you only 700. That implies what? 9,000, right? This amount has to be closed. It has to be written off, right? So then what do? You need to reduce the value of stock again. Decrease karna hai, so you need to credit it by 9,000. So it is the same entry like we had done for the other two cases. Next is, out of the total creditor, a sum of rupees 32,000 is due to C, who is the new partner who is coming in, which is to be transferred to his capital account. See, now what is happening? C is our creditor and now we are making him our new partner. So in that case, what would happen? We would be taking, instead of paying him, we are going to close the creditor and transfer it to his capital account. So for that, the entry for that will be creditors debit, we close it by that, and we open C's capital account by 32. So he's not bringing in money. The amount what the firm had to give him, like as a creditor, that is being transferred to his capital account. Next is office equipment of 6,000 is unrecorded in the books. Now office equipment, if it is unrecorded, what does it imply? It's an unrecorded asset. So you need to increase the value of an asset. So to increase the value of an asset, you need to debit it. So you can see the answer. Entry is office equipment debit to revaluation account, right? Next is machinery is taken over by B for 25,000 and the book value of machinery is how much? It is 21,000. So you can see from 25 it became 21. So that means 4,000 the value has to increase, right? So if I have to increase the value of the machine by 4,000, machinery would be debited. Entry would be machinery account debit to revaluation account. That is for the increasing of the value of the machine. Secondly, the partner is also taking it over. So if you see the entry, first entry will be machinery account debit to revaluation account. And when the partner is taking over, so machinery will go out at the new value, that is 25,000. And I would debit the person who has taken the machine, debit the receiver and credit what goes out, right? Next entry. Here he is saying 1/3 of the machinery is taken over by B for 25,000 and the balance is revalued at 48,000 and the book value of machinery given is 60,000. So now we have to actually do a calculation, so I'll show it here only. The value of the machinery is 60. So 1/3 he is talking about, 1/3 is equal to 20,000. That is taken over by B. And 2/3 of the machine would be the remaining part, that is 40,000. That is valued at 48. So you can see here there is a profit of 5,000 and here you can see there is a profit of 8,000. So this means the value of machine has to be increased by in total 13. The value to increase would be machinery account debit, right, to revaluation account by 13,000. It's a profit, so it is credited to revaluation. Then the second entry for B taking over the thing would be B's capital account debit with 25,000 to machinery account debit by 25,000. Right? So this is how you have to write the entry. Okay? He has taken over the asset. Next is half the machinery is taken over by B for 32 and the balance is revalued at 37 and the book value of the machinery is given at 80 now. So now again we do some calculation and do the thing. So 80,000 is the value of the thing, right? And what has happened here? In 80,000 you can see half 40,000 has been taken over by B and it is valued at taken at 32. The other half is going to be revalued at 37. So here you can see there's a loss of 8,000. Here there's a loss of 3,000. So the total loss is 13. So when you have to reduce the value of a asset, machinery is decreasing. So I need to credit it. So it will be to machinery account, revaluation account would be debited. And now when the partner takes over an asset, the partner would be debited and machinery would be credited. Now coming to the next thing, he has said there is a liability of 3,000 in bill payable which is not likely to arise. See children, bill payable is what? It's a liability. So bill payable as a liability is going down. Now what would happen if the bill payable is not going to rise? It is going to be a profit for the business, right? So when a liability goes down, we need to debit it. So it will be, the journal entry would be bill payable account debit to revaluation account with 3,000, right? We need to debit it because it's going down. Next is there is likely to be a claim for damage against the firm for which a provision of 1,500 is to be made. Now what? This is what? Claim for damage. Claim for damage is now a liability, right? So you know that you have to pay 1,500. So when a liability is going to increase, that is claim for damage, we need to credit it. And opposite revaluation has to be debited. So revaluation to claim for damage will be the entry. Next is a bill of rupees 300 for power charges has been omitted to be accounted, right? It should now be accounted for by you. So now what happens is, bill for power charges, when it is omitted, what happens? Outstanding power. That's an expense. So expense is increasing. So expense is increasing over here, and if you have not paid for it, it is actually a liability. Liability is also increasing. So all expenses and all, they go to revaluation at the time of reconstitution. And when a liability increases, we need to credit it. So the entry for this is going to be revaluation account debit, right, to outstanding power expense, right? Next is, he's saying rent 3,000 is outstanding. So outstanding rent is again a liability increase. So we need to credit it. And again, outstanding rent is a what? It's an expense. So we need to debit it. We have to pay it in the next year. So it will be debited from the revaluation account. So the entry will again be what? Revaluation account debit to rent outstanding. Next, as he has said, out of the amount of insurance premium which was debited to profit and loss account, 1,000 is to be carried forward to the next year. Now when you say it has to be carried forward to the next year, that means it is prepaid insurance. We know prepaid insurance, right? That is an asset. An asset is increasing, so it has to be debited. So the entry would be prepaid insurance debit to revaluation account. It's a profit because an asset has been shown in the picture. Now next entry, an unaccounted accrued income of 5,000 was to be provided for. Now see children, accrued income due but not received. So that's an asset, right? You're going to get it in the near future. So increase in asset has to be debited. So it will be accrued income account debit to revaluation account. Wherever you have nothing to put, you put the revaluation. and it's a profit, you can see there. So you are crediting revaluation. Next is expense on revaluation amounted to 4,000 and were paid by B. B is a partner. So now if B has paid expense of revaluation, right, you need to credit him for that. So entry for expense of revaluation will be debited to revaluation account, right, and it will be credited to B's capital account. Now B's capital would get a credit for that. So you can see the entry here. This is for accrued income to revaluation. Then for the revaluation expense, revaluation account debit to B's capital account. Now next, coming to this case, an expense of 1,000 is debited to profit and loss account. You are debiting it to profit and loss account, right? And it is belonging to the personal expense of A. Now partner's personal expense should be drawings, and this is an error. Now you need to rectify it. So now you would be debiting A, right, A's capital account, and you would be crediting the revaluation because you would be taking this money from the partner now. So it will be A's capital debit to revaluation account. Next is a debt of rupees 1,000 which was written off as bad debt last year was recovered by A. Now what happened last year? 1,000 worth of debt, okay? Last year's debt, it has been written off. That means bad debt की entry हो चुकी है. So that's fine. But now it is recovered by A, has got money, so he has recovered the bad debt. So it's a revenue for them. But now we have to take this money from A, right? So that means I'm going to debit A's capital account and credit the revaluation account. So entry would be A's capital account debit to revaluation with 1,000 because he is going to recover the money and we need to take it from A. He has recovered it earlier from the person. Next, a debtor whose sum due of 5,000 was written off last year, right? Last year you have written it off also. So it became bad debt last year, paid rupees 4,000 in full settlement. So he finally could make some money, so it is bad debt recovered by you. So bad debt recovered is a revenue, so we'll have to credit it to revaluation account. And you're getting the money, right? So paid likha. Paid means you get the money. So entry will be cash account debit to what? Revaluation account, right? So loss has decreased last year, or you can say there's a profit that you're making or revenue that you have. Because bad debt recovered is a revenue. Next is this case, that is a debtor whose due of 5,000 was written off last year, promised to pay 4,000 in full settlement. Now he has said he would pay 4,000, not paid, but he has promised to pay. This is very important. Now what happens for promise? We have to make him the debtor again. So since the name is not given, I'll be writing debtor account debit, right? So the entry would be debtor account debit to revaluation account with 4,000, right? Now next is T case. So these are cases of, debtors which you have to really be very careful about. He has given you an extract of balance sheet on 31st of March and you have the debtor and you can see the provision. And this is the amount of debtor after subtracting the provision. He is saying there are bad debt of 12,000. So children, if you remember in class 11th we had studied about provision for bad and doubtful debt. So this provision is basically made to take care of the bad debt. So first of all, we would be writing the entry for bad debt. So the entry for bad debt we all know is what? Bad debt account debit to debtors, that is 12,000. Now this bad debt has to be closed. So we have to credit bad debt to close it. We have to utilize the provision that we have first, that is only 10,000. Had it been more than 12, I would have taken the entire thing from this provision only. But it is less than 12, so 10,000 I'm the full amount I'm writing here. And revaluation account is going to be debited by 2,000. What is this 2,000? This 2,000 is basically the amount of loss which is over and above the amount of provision that you had made, right? Now next is again another way. Debtors are 50,000 and you can see provision for doubtful debt he has given on the liability side, that is appearing at how much? 5,000. The question is telling us 4,000 become bad debt and provision for doubtful debt has to be at the same rate now. So first let me calculate the rate. The rate is what? Jitna provision hai divided by debtor. So I have a 10% rate at present, right? So let us do the entry for bad debt first. So the entry for bad debt would be bad debt account debit to debtors, right? Now the next thing you need to note is provision for doubtful debt is being used to write off the bad debt because you have sufficient money. You have 5,000 in the provision and your bad debt is 4,000. So 4,000 bad debt I'm closing by crediting it. And against what? Provision for doubtful debt. Now if I show you the calculation, out of 5,000, 4,000 has been used. So I am left with a balance of 1,000 in the provision. And what do I have to make? Now again remember, see, out of the 50,000 debtor, if 4,000 become bad, I can see debtors are credited for it. So my now debtors are only 46. On 46, I have to create the same rate, that is 4,600. My new provision has to be 4,600. I already have only 1,000. So I have to make a provision of how much? 3,600. So the entry for that would be revaluation account debit to provision for doubtful debt. That is how much? 3,600. Right? So here what happened? Provision for doubtful debt that you have to credit over here, that is of 3,600 for the amount that is lacking now to make it 4,600. Next is, he said 2,000 became bad debt and a provision for doubtful debt has to be made at 1,500. You need only 1,500 provision at the end. So you can see first entry would be of bad debt. So bad debt to debtor with 2,000. Then provision for doubtful debt to bad debt with 2,000. You need to close the bad debt that you have opened. So you close it. And the next entry, first of all, let us do the calculation here. 5,000 out of that 2,000 has been used to write off the bad debt. So I'm left with 3,000 in my provision. The question tells I need a provision only of 1,500. So what happens is remaining after subtracting 1,500 from 3,000, this 1,500 is extra provision. Now this extra provision needs to be removed. For reducing the amount of provision, I need to debit it. Right? I need to debit it and I credit revaluation. It's a profit. So this will be the entry provision for doubtful debt account debit to revaluation account. Next is coming to the case, the same third case, 8,000 become bad debt and a provision for doubtful debt is to be made at the current rate only. So current rate is 10%, I can see, right? Now what do I do over here? First is make the entry bad debt to debtor 8,000. Second entry would be provision has to be used to write it off. So provision 5,000 ka hai, 8,000 I have over here. So I have to write off of 8,000. So I can't write off beyond 5 from the provision. So I take it from revaluation. So revaluation will be debited by 3,000, the difference. And then let us see the calculation. You can notice one thing, like the entire provision has been used up. That is why you are using revaluation. Now let us calculate the amount of debtors after the bad debt has happened. 50,000 minus 8,000 bad debt, so 42,000. On 42,000 I need to have a provision of 4,200. So let us create this provision also. Entry would be revaluation account debit to provision for doubtful debt. I am creating this provision of 4,200 for bad and doubtful debt. Now coming to the next thing. Machinery is taken over by B for 24,000 against cash payment, right? And the given value of machinery is how much? It is 20,000. So the partner B is taking over but for cash. Remember, cash is the cashier. Whether B takes it, C takes it or XYZ takes it, for you, you are getting money. And he's taking it for 24. There's a profit of 4,000. You have to increase the value of the asset first. So for that, the entry would be where you're increasing revaluation account debit only with the profit here, with not 24 because 20 is already there. That will be 4,000. And then when the money is received by selling it, so entry would be cash account debit to machinery account with 24,000, the value at which you had sold it. The next entry now, a discounted bill of exchange 4,000 was dishonored, but no entry has been passed for that. Now what happens when a discounted bill of exchange is dishonored? You studied in class 11th. What do? We make the person what? Our debtor again. So when we have to make him our debtor again, we will write debtor because the name is not written, and we will write to a bank. We need to make the bank the creditor again. Why? Because the bank has not received the money on the due date. So the entry for this will be revaluation account debit, debtor account debit to bank. It should be here, right? Let me just correct it. It will be to bank here with 4,000 rupees. So it will not have any impact on what? On the revaluation. It will have an impact only on the what? One asset transforming into the other asset. So bill of exchange will reduce. Bill of exchange BR. So debtor is going to over here increase and bank is going to reduce. Next is he is saying interest of 700 has been charged and deducted by the bank. It has been omitted to be accounted in the books of the firm, right? So now when such a thing has happened, when it has been, omitted to be accounted in the books, so what do? This is again rectification. So we have to see over here when interest has been charged, so bank must have been credited. So I'll write bank, and it's an expense, so I'll debit revaluation account for the expense. So the entry will be revaluation account debit to bank. Next is the last one. Total of debtors of 700 due from Amit proved to be bad. Another debtor, Mayank, who owed us 5,000 became insolvent. 40% due from him is irrecoverable. Provision for doubtful debt is to be created at the rate of 10% on debtors. And what are my debtors? My debtors are 45,700. Now children, this is like very interesting. I'll just write an outline and explain it to you. Here he is saying what? Amit, entire 700 has become bad. Mayank, he owed us 5,000 and 40% has become bad. So that means 2,000 has become bad, right? And then after this you can see that means 2,700 is bad debt. So for that we pass the entry bad debt to debtors, right? Now you have to see out of this 700 is bad debt, and I'll subtract now 5,000. Why? Because Mayank has become insolvent. He is going to pay out of his 5,000. He is going to pay 3,000 but not 2,000. So that means the 3,000 which he is going to pay becomes good debt. So on the entire 5,000 that was due from Mayank as a debtor, we don't have to create any provision now. So this concept we studied in class 11th. On good debt, the remaining 3,000 is good debt. So 2,000 I am subtracting because it was bad debt, and 3,000 I am further subtracting because Mayank will definitely pay 3,000. I don't need to make further provision on it. The court has said that he is going to pay 3,000. And then 40,000 is the remaining amount. I have to create a provision of 10% on this. So 10% of this is 4,000. See now children, be careful. This question doesn't have any provision. The debtors are just given, they don't maintain a provision. So what happened? The new thing that you have to write, bad debt has to be written off against the revaluation. And the new provision he is asking you to make again has to be made from the revaluation. So you need to credit the provision and debit the revaluation. So the last entry is for, it's a loss for the business because you're creating a further provision and you're writing off your bad debt. So children, this was the topic of revaluation, and I hope you have understood. If still you have a problem, right, you can ask me and get a clarification on that. Thank you children.